G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wildkard. Thank you for being here and watching my content. As always, it is my pleasure and the absolute privilege to be watching these absolutely amazing test games of rugby. Okay, the Bledisloe Cup, even though it's a dead rubber, right? New Zealand rugby, just make a point difference to determine the Bledisloe and you'll make literally $1 million for doing nothing, okay? A game like this should not have been a dead rubber, okay? That's my, $1 million gift for you, New Zealand rugby, and goes to Australian rugby as well. With that being said, right, it turns out we've all been wondering the question, is the All B team good enough to win the Rugby World Cup? And the answer to the question obviously is not quite good enough yet. The All Blacks, despite picking a lot of people kind of like doubting Ian Foster, why aren't you including me actually? Why are you picking the informed players? Why isn't D-Mac starting at 10? Where's Damien McKenzie, man? And then, it's starting to show, under the big pressure, under the big lights, the Ian Foster knows the big game players, the big time, the experienced players, what they call the big guns. It's despite not being informed, a lot of the big guns like Jordie Barrett, Riku Ioane, and Bowden. But they, the big test matches, they deliver, right? And this was probably the biggest example of that for the All Blacks. The first half of the All Blacks was absolutely horrendous, atrocious. I was embarrassed. Like, the lineouts were not straight. I thought the Wallabies swapped jerseys with the All Blacks before the kickoff, right? Lineouts were not straight. They lost multiple lineouts. The scrummaging was 50-50 at best. And then, the kicking game was like, you have no idea what's going on. I was like, what's going on? Like, is Eddie Jones coaching this? The England coach, the former English coach, the Eddie Jones that used to coach England, that it's all about the kicking game. Is he coaching this team? D-Mac was just like kicking the ball out everywhere. And, and also it was really, really bad for the All Blacks, especially in the first half, was the lack of breakdown commitments, both in attack and defense. The Wallabies were just getting free ball. It was like watching a rugby league game, right? Like, the All Blacks were just like, yeah, guys, made the tackle. Let's just wait for the next one. And then the Wallabies were just like, all right, thank you very much. Quick ball. Got a lot of early momentum. And then it got to the point where it was kind of silly, where the Wallabies was just like, hey guys, we're winning. What are we gonna do? Like, they literally look like they didn't know what they wanted to do when they were winning. Okay, the Wallabies look uncomfortable for being so far ahead against the All Blacks, right? It was 17 points to 3 going to halftime, and like it was like you get a penalty right in front, and the Wallabies like, all right, not really sure if we want to kick this 3 points or should we go for the line out. Let's just like randomly, throw a coin and see what he lands on, and we'll just go for that. Like, there was one that was like right in front. They didn't opt for the kick and they went for the line out. And there was another one that was like, you're kind of like expecting for them to go for, for a try. And then they just go for 3 points. So it's like you're clearly not sure what was going to happen, what the decision making should be when they were ahead, right? I really applaud the Wallabies for going to the, I complain this a lot, for them to just try to milk the win with 3 points. And I really do applaud them for going for the lineouts early in the first half as well, even though they were like so far ahead. The conventional wisdom under a test match would be, hey, you take 3 points on board, you're extending that lead as much as you can because it is a test match. The Wallabies went for the ballsy decision to go for the lineouts. I thought that was good. I was really, happy to see that because those were the areas that the Wallabies need to improve on anyway. So something that, even if it doesn't work out, like, it didn't turn into a try, still just being able to, work those set piece, work those constant pressure was really, really good to see as well. So that was another thing for the Wallabies. So the big, I think the big tick for me is that Quade Cooper landing that penalty goal 45 meters out in the booing crowds of New Zealand. Yes, it's been like, 2 decades now since the incident. Okay, he's still public enemy number 1. It's good to see that the New Zealanders never forget. Or maybe all the people watching at Dunedin are like 50, 60-year-old boomers that still remembers back in the days when Quade Cooper pushed over Sir Richie. I think he pushed him, right? He pushed him and then had a bit of push and shove, and then became public enemy number one for New Zealand. That's where the booing started. This was like, at least 10 years ago. I kid you not. Probably more than 10 years ago now. And the New Zealand public still loves the booing. And, under the tremendous amount of pressure. And this was a bit of a botched kick as well. The tee was missing. So the referee was like, all right, we're going to give you a little bit more time because there's a kicking time. There's a shot clock. The referee was like, I'm going to give you a little bit more time to make the kick. But, it was a tremendous pressure. He was, basically had to rush the kick a little bit. And this was, 40 meters out, on a bit of an angle. So probably about 50 in total distance. And then he was under just like deafening boos, bringing back old devils, old enemies. That was, third, I don't know, like 10 years ago, this booing was really putting him off back then. He really conquered those devils and really landed that kick. And I was very, very, very impressed by this goal kick. I was, that's something that Eddie Jones was looking for. That's why he's on the bench in the squad, Kind of been questioning as well, why is Quade in the squad? That is why he's in the squad, because Eddie Jones needs big time players to have that calm head, to have that ice in their blood, to land those, kicks in dying stages of the game in a hostile crowd. So that was a huge tick for me for Quade Cooper and for the Wallabies. Once again, the big issue for the Wallabies is the bench once again and the scrummaging again. Oh my god, Jason Ryan for the All Blacks, the All Blacks scrum coach, really has saved the All Blacks. Once again, the All Blacks in the second half was able to dominate the Wallabies in the scrummaging, and to the point where they were just getting penalties at will. It was like, we need 3 points to win the game. Let's just get this penalty from the scrummaging. And when you have that sort of talent, when you have that sort of dominance to just able to get a penalty at will, it's very, very hard to beat a team when your scrummaging is just giving away 3 points every time you pack it down, right? You pack down a scrum, right? And Jason Ryan, the former Crusaders, I think he might still be the Crusaders scrum coach, just brought on these new players, Fletcher Newell, in the second half, and just despite being relatively new to Test rugby, dominated the Wallabies with Ofa Tuangafasi as well. Tuangafasi again hasn't been that great for the Blues, but just absolutely dominated the Wallabies in this. Like, it was hard. It was like literally I was hurting watching the scrummaging, just waiting for the penalties to go out for the referee. It was so painful. And with that being said, all these Kiwi pundits like, oh, scrum's boring. Now you wish that you had a good scrum, right? Now you're happy you got a good scrum, right? It's no longer boring anymore. Winning the test match for you. If it wasn't for, honestly, it was just really tremendous effort for the forwards to achieve that for the All Blacks. And then obviously Richie Muonga coming off the bench, replacing Damien McKenzie. Immediately the team looked a lot better. The structure was better. The decision was more crisp, knowing when to kick, knowing when not to kick, knowing how to kick. And then the passing game was smoother. And then just the speed, the line speed was much quicker. The breakdown speed was quicker in the second half as well. And everything overall for the All Blacks was just much more crisp. And the Wallabies was on the receiving end of it. So the bench for the Wallabies, once again, very underwhelming. This has been something that I think Eddie Jones might have to think of different selections in the bench going into the next match. I really felt Pete Samu is one guy that really missing out for the Wallabies coming off the bench. Again and again in the past for the Wallabies, just bringing that impact, gameplay impact, power and speed. Literally winning games and saving games for the Wallabies coming off the bench in the past. I feel like someone like that is really needed for the Wallabies on the bench. We've got the Quade Cooper ticking off the long range kicking. We need somebody to look out for the forward dominance, something that is severely lacking in the second half. So the overall this game, if we have a look at some of the interesting stats, the Wallabies was dominating for the first half. Like, absolutely couldn't believe how good it was. Like everything went the Wallabies' way. The kicking game, everything was going way. The Wallabies, despite dominating the first half, the run meters was actually quite close. I checked the stats. You're actually surprised a little bit. The All Blacks have 245 run meters, the Wallabies 279. I really felt like the All Blacks hardly ran the ball. I felt like they were kicking the ball away a lot. They only had like very brief periods just before halftime, where they were building a bit of a run meters and keeping the ball in hands and not kicking it away. So yeah, I was really surprised to say 240 and not 5 run meters for the All Blacks at halftime. There was 9 turnovers conceded at halftime for the All Blacks, and obviously, on the full time, All Blacks ran 586 run meters, completely dominated the Wallabies in the second half. Wallabies 461 overall, and the turnovers conceded for the All Blacks 17 overall. The All Blacks already conceded 9 turnovers by halftime, so that inexperience from the newcomers really starting to show a little bit. The Wallabies are much better in that regards. 6 turnovers conceded in the first half and 7 in the second half, so not too bad overall. Defenders, this is something that was just completely turned around in the second half. The All Blacks made 108 tackles in the first half, missed 14. The Wallabies only had to make 34 tackles, only 34 tackles, and missed 11. Yeah, I feel like there's one missing in the 34 tackle at the beginning. It should be 134 tackles, right? Because how could you miss 11 tackles out of the 34? Again, that's a massive defensive issue for the Wallabies in the first half. I almost felt like it's that thing where you're winning too much and you don't know what to do with yourselves almost a little bit. And there's just like a mental lapse of like, confusion almost, of not sure how to proceed the game when you're winning by such a big margin, when so much has gone your way. And then I suddenly remember something. Why the Wallabies lost? Because it's full of Rebels players. Yes. Yes. Anyway, let's continue. The tackles, 173. So the second half, the Wallabies made about 140 tackles, 139 tackles, and only missed 15 tackles. So that's a much better tackle completion rate for the Wallabies in the second half. Definitely turned that around a bit. Kicks in play, 29 for the All Blacks, 26 for the Wallabies. The Wallabies were winning the kicking game, 15 kicks at halftime, 13 to the All Blacks. 1 penalty goal missed for Carter Gordon. This was be very painful. Probably should have brought on Quaid a little bit earlier. This was kind of late in the second half, and it was pretty much right in front. Like, honestly, this was, a little bit far out, a little bit of angle. It's not like hard at an angle. And then, he hit the goalpost. So that was a little bit of a disappointment there for him. Again, the pressure, the big time moments probably got to him a little bit. Despite the fact that he was able to kick 2 conversions in the first half, right from the sideline, to miss this one kind of like right in front was really, really disappointing. He will be disappointed with that. The lineouts, much better for the All Blacks in the second half. The first half, the lineouts were awful. Not straight, getting stolen. And then just being really unclinical. This stats here, ignore that. That's actually just wrong. Like, it's definitely not 0. The Wallabies had some lineout issues in the second half, but there's no, I don't know, it haven't been keeping lineout stats for a while in this website, rugby.com.au. The scrums, the All Black scrums was actually struggling a little bit in the first half as well. So the All Black scrum, interestingly, in the first half, there was 2 really quick penalties against the All Blacks in the first 2 scrums. So there was for basically pancaking. Tamati Williams, both Tamati Williams and Nipola Lala were penalized and giving away scrum losses in the first half. Second half, like I said, massive turnaround for the All Blacks. Huge scrum dominance, getting that penalty at will, and it was just massive turnaround. Ponfa Musili, I thought was really, really good for the Wallabies. Felt like he probably deserved to have a run. He probably deserved a run over Tupou, to be frank. The scrummaging was very good in the first half. He was hurt as well a couple times in this game, and he carried on for the Wallabies, which was also just great effort from his behalf. Penalties conceded. The All Blacks conceded 7 penalties in the first half and only 3 in the second half. So much better in those penalty counts, especially, when the game is really tight, not giving away those penalties towards the end of the game, which, definitely made the difference to winning and losing. The Wallabies, on the other hand, 4 penalties conceded in the first half and then 9 in the second half, really letting the game slipping away from their grasps. So that's that. Let's quickly go through some of the points, some of the key moments of the test match. So the Wallabies scored 2 tries in less than 10 minutes, right? So again, the attack from the Wallabies was looking really, really good. Really flat ball, front foot, running rugby, and then just it's almost like the moment, like when the ball receiver gets the ball, the Wallabies is already like hitting the gang line, right? Like it was just that flat constantly in the first half. And also the All Blacks wasn't contesting the breakdowns. So the Wallabies were just able to get really quick ball for like pretty much the first half of the game. So so basically really nice flat ball. The Wallabies getting inside the All Blacks 22. The All Blacks made some very early mistakes, like allowing the Wallabies into their 22 quite early. So the Wallabies went to the right hand side, got to about halfway, then a quick switch back to the left hand side. Again, just really flat ball. Morocco Combetti goes into the corner. You look like he was in touch. At the same time, the ball was grounded, and there was no clear evidence that the ball, he was in touch before the ball was grounded. So it was like the same time essentially from the video footage, and it was again kind of blurry footage. I felt like they should probably get some better cameras in New Zealand. Could have saved you a try there. That could definitely be considered in touch in some instances. So yeah, Marius Jonker says no clear evidence that he was in touch, and gives it a try for the Wallabies. 7 points to nil, 2 minutes into the game. A few minutes later, 6 minutes into the game, again, this is something that I kind of wanted the Wallabies to work on, which is to link out when there's a half break. Nwangani Tawasi makes a nice little half break, offloads Andrew Callaway, who runs down the field, couldn't find any more support players. But again, just seeing those support play is something that I wanted to see. And then just, again, really quick ball to the wing. This time, the big man, Tom Hooper, gets the ball, and he tramples over Damien McKenzie. Tom Hooper is like 2 meters tall. Much better performance again by Tom Hooper. Tramples over Damien McKenzie, goes in for his debut try for the Wallabies against the All Blacks. As good as you can get. So 14 points to nil, Wallabies up ahead quite early. And then, the game kind of slowed down a bit for the All Blacks' favor. 13 minutes into the game, Will Jordan makes a nice break. The All Blacks was kind of like searching for who's going to, take a step up. Will Jordan makes a nice break, and then the Wallabies gives away a penalty for a high tackle. And then All Blacks kicks 3 points. I felt like the All Blacks probably could have gone for a bit more pressure here, but it is Test rugby. It is how the decision making is done for the All Blacks. I really felt like they probably should have, considering they're 2 tries down, should have gone for especially how early this is in the game, should have gone for some more pressure here, but they decided to take the 3. I do feel like this was a bad decision for the All Blacks there. Again, there was a couple of scrum penalties already at this point. Again, both sides of the All Black scrum were penalized for collapsing the scrum, and then that had given the Wallabies quite a bit more momentum. That was really good from the Wallabies tight head forwards, both props. And then 21 minutes into the game, the All Blacks look like the Wallabies look like they were So 21 minutes into the game, you look like the Wallabies has scored again, and once again just front football. Pong Farmer for silly. Looked like he had been hurt beforehand, but he gets the ball center field. Just again, really flat. Already had momentum going forward when he received the ball. Really, really good technique. Low body weight. Crashes over, but it was held up just under the post. So no try for the Wallabies there. They did get a penalty there, so they just decided to take the 3 points there. So 13 points to 17. 24 minutes into the game, Damien McKenzie is having a shocker. He missed the touch again. Carter Gordon missed touch as well, but Damien McKenzie, 24 minutes. He was outside his zone 22, just outside his zone 22, and he managed to punt the ball dead. Yes, I couldn't believe how bad this was. He just punted the ball dead. 25 minutes into the game, Brody Retallick gets a turnover penalty for the All Blacks, like the first time, showing a bit of a challenge in the breakdown. And yeah, Damien McKenzie misses a touch here. It was really just from bad to worse. 28 minutes into the game, the Wallabies gets another opportunity inside the All Blacks 22. Looked like they could take the 3 points here, but they decide to go for the corner and they go for the more. And it looked like so they go for the more. The Wallabies, there was a bit of a knock on, I think. So the Wallabies had a scrum, I think it was. And then maybe it wasn't, but anyway, the Wallabies essentially take McDermott, gets the ball, and then he sees a gap in the corner. He goes in the corner. Again, I feel like McDermott almost took this a bit too lightly. It's like, oh, am I going to score again? He went into the corner. He clearly could have grounded the ball if he had a bit more urgency. He kind of got rolled. He went into the corner. Instead of just dunking the ball down, he allowed himself to get rolled over. And then he tried to slowly put the ball down over his head. And then as he was doing so, Adi Savia jumps on him and basically held the ball up. And I really felt like McDermott didn't have he could have scored this 100%. He just didn't have the urgency to wiggle himself with the ball down. He thought he was surely gonna score, and then just taking that extra second to allow himself to get rolled over, and then didn't have the urgency to really plan the ball down quick enough. And I was really disappointed here. I thought that McDermott should have gone for that, especially they've neglected the 3 points, and this really should have been a try. But really good effort by Anaysis saving the try there. There was it was looking like I don't know what's going on. I literally felt like the Wallabies looked confused about what to do when they're leading. It was a bit of an interesting thing to see here. A few minutes later for the All Blacks, you look like All Blacks finals getting some more pressure. You look like Sean Stevenson scored, but there was knocked on. No, it wasn't Sean Stevenson. No, sorry, it's a bit further down. Anyway, 35 minutes into the game, Carter Gordon lands a beautiful 50-22, and then the Wallabies are walking to the line out. Carl Dixon says, no, too slow to the line out, and switches up for a short arm to the All Blacks. I was like, yeah, come on, mate. Come on. You were doing such a good job so far, and I thought that was just, unnecessary to reverse that 50-22 for the All Blacks. Really, really stupid. 38 minutes into the game, finally, the All Blacks was, running, recognize the situation, not kicking the ball away stupidly, start putting some pressure on. The All Blacks was able to put some pressure on, get inside the Wallabies 22, looking quite good. Again, just silly mistakes, Nipolala dropping the ball, and then the All Blacks was, eventually the All Blacks was able to, I think it was a knock on. But anyway, eventually the All Blacks was not able to convert that final bit of pressure into a try, going into half time. Second half, 44 minutes in, so into the second half, the All Blacks came out with a bit more intensity. Again, a bit more running, less kicking, and then Faianga Nuku crashes down center field, goes I think this was this was just the All Blacks putting pressure. Faianga Nuku crashed down center field, drawing so many defenders. He was just kept the legs pumping. The ball comes out, goes wide. D-Mac gets the ball, long ball out wide to Sean Stevenson into the corner. All Blacks gets the first try. 4 minutes into the second half, 10 points to 17. There's more contesting in the breakdown now. Again, the All Blacks was just really recognizing that issue and stepping up that in the second half. 54 minutes into the game, the All Blacks was, had their big names on the field. Aaron Smith is on the field. The big finishers has come on. They had a scrum. The scrum gets a short arm. I think for the Wallabies, gives away a short arm penalty for the scrum. And Aaron Smith takes a quick tap. Gives the ball to Adi Savia. Adi Savia crashes the ball, and then quick ball comes out. Faianga Nuku center field crashes through. Way too quick, way too far. Goes under the post, and he knocks on the ball just over the try line. So Wallabies got away with that one. Could have been a try there. The All Blacks, a few minutes later, gets another penalty from this. Right in front, the All Blacks says, that's enough, we'll take the 3 points. 13 points to the 17. On 59th minute, the Wallabies gets a penalty right back for themselves. And this was, like I said, pretty much right in front. A little bit, about, almost 40 meters out. A bit of distance, I think. But, McDermott hits the post, which was really, really painful. And then at this point, the All Blacks reserves props started coming on and really starting to dominate in the scrummaging, just getting the penalties at will almost. 63 minutes into the game, the All Blacks turns up scrum penalty into a 10-meter line out. Set up a more. The more gets immediately penalized for the Wallabies. Again, the Wallabies finishes like the 4-pack. The more defense has been quite good in the first half. Second half, it just wasn't there anymore. It was just falling apart. Again, the All Blacks gets the ball, quick ball out to Finau, crashes through center field, and gets in for the first try for the second try for the All Blacks, and the All Blacks taking the lead 20 points to 17 right under the post. The Quade Cooper gets on the field at this point, probably should have been on a little bit earlier. I felt like he gets booed by the entire stadium. 72 minutes into the game, the Wallabies, Tom Hooper did some great job here, gets a massive turnout a breakdown turnover, 50, about 40 meters out on a bit of an angle, so about 50 meters away. And there was lots of booing for Quade Cooper to take this kick. The tee was missing, so there was even more booing for wasting time. Eventually, Quade pumps this one through, and nice and steady. I was very, very happy with that. He conquered his Devils there. And then the game was leveled at 20 apiece going into the last 5 minutes or so. The All Blacks had the ascendancy. Again, 78 minutes into the game, recognizing that the scrum was a big issue for the Wallabies in the second half. All Blacks has a scrum, massive massive forward momentum, waiting for the referee to give the penalty. Penalty comes out, 40 minutes out for the All Blacks on a bit of angle as well, or probably a little bit closer than the one that Quade kicked before. Richie Mo'unga pops this one through, nice and steady, calm as cool as ice. Goes in for this one, 23 points to 20. How the game ended for the All Blacks. So this was, massive improvements for the Wallabies, and the All Blacks has a lot of answers that they were looking for answered. So really, really good preparation for both teams. And yes, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully you enjoy that as much as I did. And have a good week. Cheers.